Hello YouTube, welcome back to Assetto Corsa, and first of all, sorry about the late episodes, but I am going to try and get 3 episodes up this week to make up for obviously not having been able to do some episodes and having some really massive time issues and all that. The car we're reviewing today happens to be, well, another Porsche, naturally, but it just happens to be the Porsche 935/78 Moby Dick. So, this car, well, it's a really interesting car because what it was designed to do and then what it did was a little bit different, should we say. So, for example, the 935, it was a racing car and it was first introduced in 1976. And I'm taking it out here at Donington, which probably isn't the best place to take it out. Also, you can see that I've somewhat managed to get my head tracking fixed. That was one of the reasons why it took a long time for me to sort things out. Anyway, it was designed for FIA Group 5. So that was sort of production cars turned into race cars. That's what it was. And they had some really strange rules about the silhouette of the car having to look like the actual car, like the production car, and then everything else could be pretty much changed, apart from the engine where you had to use the production car components, except the pistons where I think you couldn't, or you could change things around. Anyway, it was a car that started off as just a a standard Porsche 911, and then it was converted into this this race version, the 935, and in 1976, it was winning. It went through and started doing a lot of winning. It was, I think, in 1979, it won the Le Mans 24 Hours. It won the Sebring, Daytona, Nürburgring, 1,000 kilometers, and it was a really good car, the 935. However, there was one specific version of the 935 that just happens to be the one that I'm looking at today, the Moby Dick version. Now it's called Moby Dick because it's got this whale tail. So obviously, just like the whale in the book, it's got this whale tail. It was really, it's a really interesting design, and I think the way it came out, this was supposed to be the ultimate of the Porsche 935 race cars. This was supposed to be the ultimate one, and then Porsche were going to withdraw or something. And it was developed by Norbert Singer, and it was designed for Le Mans. And at Le Mans, it did do a good job in the sense of it qualified third, and it did do the top speed on the Mulsanne Straight, which was at 228 miles an hour, I believe. It managed to reach 228 miles an hour, which was incredibly fast in 1978. And the reason they did that is because they basically changed a lot of the car, and they used some loopholes that were designed for BMW to help with their front engine with their exhaust pipe and stuff. And Porsche decided, well, hang on, this is a loophole, so we can sort of change the underbody of our car, but because we have no exhaust, we can lower our car. So they did that, which was actually pretty cool. So they used a lot of clever technology there to do that, and I think it was I think it's really interesting that they did that. I think only 2 of them were made, but then there were a number of replicas made and a number of other stuff made. So let's go into the specs. It's let's go into the specs. It's a 3.2 litre. Oh, I have to do a double take there. It's a 3.2 litre flat 6, and it has 845 bhp at 1.7 bars of turbo, because it's twin turbocharged, and that's at 8,200 rpm. Funnily enough, the power and torque is rather crazy because of when this turbo comes in. At just over 4,000 rpm, the turbo kicks in, and the change in the amount of power you have is incredible. You go from 0 to 4,000 rpm, you're looking at up to about 100 bhp, and then after 4,000 rpm to about 6,500 rpm, you go from 100 bhp to 800 bhp. So it's absolutely, the acceleration and the power and torque figures there are absolutely insane. Torque, might as well just tell you torque. It's 784 newton meters, or that's 578 578 foot-pounds of torque. That's at 6,600 RPM, slightly below, or actually a fair amount below the actual max RPM for the power, but nevertheless, again, the torque does the exact same thing. When it gets to 4,100 RPM or so, it just shoots up. So from 4,100 RPM to 6,600, it goes from 200 Newton meters of torque, or about 185, 190 Newton meters of torque, all the way up to a whopping 784 Newton meters of torque. That's insane. And you're forgetting, or well, actually you're probably not forgetting, this is a rear engine, rear wheel drive car. So, is it difficult to drive? Yes, it is. Yes, it is a difficult car to drive. Very, very difficult. Top speed, like I said, it's reached 228 miles an hour, or if you want that in kilometers an hour, that's 365 or 366 kilometers an hour, and it weighs 1,025 kilograms. So it's a very, very light car, and because of its lightness and because of this crazy power, 0 to 60, 2.6 seconds. Now when I say 2.6 seconds, that's 2.6 seconds if you can get the power down correctly, which I could not manage to get down particularly well. I was not brilliant on that. Like I said, the turbo's at 1.7 bar. Normally it's 1.5 bar. 1.7 bar is more like a qualifying run. At 1.5 bar, they gave about 650 bhp, but still absolutely insane. As you can see, I'm all over the place here. Just every time that turbo kicks in, every time I get that turbo lag, the rear wheels spin up, I lose traction, and it's just bad. It's just bad. However, is the car bad to drive? Well, quickly, modelling, top notch again. Of course, they don't have all the liveries, because I think this thing ran a Martini livery at one point, and they won't do that. But I'm sure it's already been modded in. Just go on to race department, I'm pretty sure it's modded in. Texturing, I really, really like. I love this inside, this display and everything inside. I think it's really nice with these little green lights telling you how high you're revving. It's a shame they don't go red. I see, when you're revving up above 8,000, I thought maybe they'd go yellow or red, but it doesn't. Nevertheless, that being said, actually, I've just noticed that there is one that does go red. I just noticed that if you look on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, if I actually let that rev up, you can just see it going red. So I take that back. I will take that one back. Everything's written in German in here, so I'd say I don't understand it, but I'm pretty sure what most of it is, because I'm just looking at the the display. So we're looking at water temperature, we're looking at tachometer, lights, stuff like that. So oil temperatures, fuel, and I think that's pretty much just the standard stuff. I don't know about the front design. I mean, I know it was designed to be really, really low profile and really low drag as well, but I thought they would have put the lights back on it. I'm sure that the lights are, designed in such a way to be low profile and stuff as well. Nevertheless, I think it does look very good, and I can see exactly why it gets the name Moby Dick. It's just, it has this huge whale tail for low drag, obviously for top speed, for Le Mans. That's why I took it out at Donington Park, because it would be somewhere where it's not really in its comfort zone, and I'd get a feel for its cornering ability and stuff like that. Plus, I'm not entirely fond of the Le Mans track as it is in Assetto Corsa right now as a mod. Though it's really good, I'm not entirely fond of it. Anyway, moving on, we've gone textures, we've gone model, sounds. Sounds are really, really quite nice in this. I found the outside sounds a little bit quiet. I think a car of this era would be perhaps louder than it is, but I'm not really complaining. Just crank up the volume a bit, I suppose. It is really, really nice. It's got a lot of different sounds. It's got the old style brake squeal that they've now included in Assetto Corsa. I first noticed that on the Ferrari F40. It's got a number of gear changing sounds. That there was one that when I was shifting gear, it was only at a certain RPM, but I shifted down from 4th to 3rd, and there was this really interesting little clicking sound as I shifted down, and it only happened once. I can't remember exactly where in the video, and I'm sure most of you aren't going to hear this because I'm talking over it, but there was this sound, and it was really nice. It just showed me that Kunos have looked at all these extra little details and stuff like that. Also, you'll notice a fuel light come on in a lapse time or something, which again I thought was pretty cool. To have that come on, it's nice and bright. It's very, very obvious what's going on, that you're running out of fuel. Lastly, physics. Well, like I said, it's not exactly the easiest car to drive. It's got low downforce. Because it's a rear engine, rear wheel drive, low downforce, all that kind of stuff. It does have a tendency to understeer through the high speed corners somewhat, and then it does understeer pretty much all the time. But then just on exit, as the turbos spool up, you do get that snap oversteer. There's the light come on. You do get that snap oversteer. Nevertheless, even though it's a difficult car to drive and it's not exactly my cup of tea, I thought it was so much fun. I thought, you know, it's a challenging car. I could have driven this car probably at the Nürburgring or something for a couple of hours, just, you know, getting to grips with the car, understanding how it works, understanding how the power delivery is, understanding how the torque delivery is, understanding how it wants to be driven, how it wants to be taken into corners. I've learned something, that Porsches, they drive a little different. I've learnt that Porsches drive a little different to normal cars, probably because of their configuration, especially obviously the 911s. And to be honest, I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. It's not particularly the best thing that I like, but I do enjoy it, and I think that this car is a solid 9 out of 10 again. They've done a good job with this Porsche pack, I have to say. So with that, I'm just going to look around the car a bit so you guys can just see a little bit. And thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to our channel for more videos on the Assetto Corsa I've pulled up outside the Lotus garage. Leave a comment in the comments box below. Do look and check out my Patreon page. The link to that's in the description box below. And send me a message on Twitter if you've got any suggestions as well. I do check that. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode.